It's time for Let's Talk with Tara. Tara is a counseling coach who addresses real issues that plague many women today. Issues like church hurt, disappointment, anxiety, depression, and many more. You will be inspired, educated, and empowered on how to receive the help and healing needed to move forward. If you have real issues, then Tara has real solutions. Let's talk with Tara.
Hello. It is Monday midday, and it's Let's Talk Tara. It's Monday. It's February the 1st, January 2020. I tell you, the days are moving so fast, but I'm excited to be on with you today. I am Tara T. Stallings. I am your Master Certified Life Coach, Board Certified Mental Health Coach, Counselor, Author, and Speaker. And I am excited to be on today just to talk about, continue the conversation that we've been having about emotional, how our emotions directly impact every area of our life. And that could be positively, and that could be positive or negatively. So I want to jump into it. And the reason I'm talking about this is because I think, what happens is, now I think I know that most people, they don't factor in the emotional intelligence and the emotional aspect of their life and how it directly impacts every other area of their lives. So I want to talk about it today. Years ago, in my first book, Ladies Let's Talk, Life, Lies, Love, and Relationships, I wrote a chapter and it was called Emotional Intimacy. Remember now, when I say emotions play a vital part in your health, your wealth, your spirituality, your relationships, your self-esteem, everything, your career, your emotions play a vital part in it. Because listen, if your emotions are unstable or they are off balance, they control how you make decisions. So let's talk about it. Now, I'm going to talk about this from the emotional intimacy. I'm going to talk about it from the viewpoint of a woman. Now, let me just make this clear, make this disclaimer out. Men are emotional too. So often we hear that, women are emotional creatures. Well, men are too. Humans are emotional creatures. It's just sometimes, not all the time, because you have many men that are very emotional also. Most of the times and sometimes you find women display their emotions more prevalently than you see men display their emotions, or they display their emotions in a totally different way. So today we're going to talk about, again, emotional intimacy. Let's explore this emotional intimacy that women crave. Yes, a close emotional relationship and emotional bond. Women crave a close emotional relationship and emotional bond. Now, men crave it also because we're emotional creatures. But women tend more prevalently to seek that bond with a person, whether it's parents, like I said, men and women experience the same thing. But whether it's a parent relationship, it's a sibling relationship, it's an intimate relationship, women tend to seek that more so, or they display how they seek it more than men. And I'm just, God created us women, and he put Adam to sleep. And I'm just going from the biblical story in the Bible from Genesis Genesis 2, 21 and 23, he said he put Adam to sleep, and he took his rib and he created a woman. Man was formed from dirt, from the earth, and woman was created from flesh. Listen, from the mind, the will, and emotions. Because that's what's in flesh. The mind, the will, and emotions. That's the soulish realm. That's why I say women are more emotional. Everything about your flesh is emotional. Everything about your flesh is emotional. Eve was already inside of Adam. God brought her forth as an extension of him. Let's stop there for a minute. Now, initially I said that men have emotions too, but women are more emotional, tongue-tied today, emotional more so than men, because the woman was created from the flesh. Adam was already living. He was a breathing spirit that had a soul that lived in a body, and the woman was created from what was already inside of him, taking something that was natural, emotional, flesh, and creating a woman. Okay? Creating a woman, because we said everything that's in the flesh is emotional. You don't get emotional in your soul. You don't get emotional in your spirit. You get emotional in your flesh. It's displayed in your flesh. Now, your emotions control your mind, which is your will, the soulish realm, but you display it in your flesh. You display your emotions in your flesh. We react from what our mindset says. For example, when we're trying to lose weight, if we focus and concentrate or meditate on losing weight, then our will and emotions are going to follow. Wow. If we focus and concentrate, meditate on it, on losing weight, then our will, what we think, our mindsets, our emotions line up with our mindsets, our will, and guess what? They walk hand in hand. They are cohesive. And then the process of losing weight begins. But if you think, I really want to lose weight, but when I walk, my legs hurt, we're talking about our mindset, or my feet hurt, or I'm too tired to exercise, or I don't like diet food or healthy food, because I don't like diet food, or anything that will hinder you from taking the steps to reach your goals, your will and emotions are going to react from what your mind has told it, from that mindset. Let me give you a more practical example. You can be upset. I'm sad about something. Thinking about something tragic could have happened. You could be upset. You lost your job. And just thinking about it. You know how you just think about it. You meditate on it. And it just makes you more upset. And then you go sometimes into a state of depression. But someone can come along. Listen to me. Or you can see something on television while you're in that sad state or depressed state that's funny to you. And all of a sudden, you could be bawling, crying, and all of a sudden, you go from crying to laughing because you had a shift in mind for that few minutes to hear what they said that was so funny to you, and you take your focus off of your depressive or sad thoughts, and guess what? You start laughing. You're laughing. And depending on who it and what it is, you may get wrapped up into that laughter for minutes or hours, but your mind is not focused on the sadness anymore. So those tears from that emotional mindset goes dry up and become laughter, because now you are thinking about something else. Your emotions are not sad. They're happy. They're happy. They're in a joyful a mood. You're in a joyful mood, so you react from that. So our emotions control a lot. Our emotions change like the wind, almost. They change like the wind. When a person has developed a poor self-worth of themselves, they believe and distinguish in their mind that nobody wants them. And we just, this is just a mindset. They find fault in everything about themselves, from their appearance to their mental abilities. They are constantly comparing themselves to others that they perceive are prettier, smarter than them. We're talking about emotional intimacy now. This comes from not getting the emotional attention that was needed throughout childhood. And sometimes young adulthood, not always childhood, but young adulthood, adolescence. See, we need that stimulation of our emotions in certain areas of our life. If we don't get a certain level of stimulation and our emotions met satisfactory, we have a deficit in our emotions. And once we have a deficit in our emotions, it causes us to crave emotional intimacy with people to fill that void. With people to fill that void. I'm going to read something to you. I'm just going to read right from a passage in my book. And like I said, we're talking about emotional intimacies from my first book, Ladies Let's Talk, Life, Lies, Love, and Relationships. Ladies Let's Talk, Life, Lies, Love, and Relationships. A single mother of two, a boy and a girl, struggled with the behavior of her daughter, that her daughter had been displaying as she entered her preteens. Her daughter started questioning her mother's requests, getting into fights at school, talking back to teachers, and finally being expelled from her school. With each attempt to discipline her unacceptable behavior, the daughter grew angrier and more rebellious towards anyone that was an authority figure in her life. The mother decided to let her live with her father and his girlfriend for a while, only making a bad decision worse and a bad situation worse. Now the daughter was happy to live with her father because she desired attention from him. Remember I just said, at childhood, you're looking for that attention, that emotional intimacy. So she was happy to go live with her father because she was looking for attention from him. Sadly, she was left with more of an empty feeling than before. He was there physically, but he was not there emotionally. Wow. How often are we in relationships, whether childhood relationships, marriages, just friendships, where the person is there physically, but they're not there emotionally? The father allowed her to do whatever she wanted to do, as long as it didn't really affect his lifestyle. So she was living with her father. She thought, okay, I'm going to be with my father. I'm going to get all this attention. I'm going to feel this emotional intimacy that I'm wanting from him, But and his thing was, hey, you can come live with me. You can do whatever you want to do. Just don't bother me. Just as long as it doesn't interrupt my life, affect my lifestyle real good. So her expectations of I'm going to be with my father, I'm going to have this great relationship, things are going to be different, only left her with a bigger emotional gap intimately because she didn't get what she expected. She didn't get what she expected. These actions landed her back home with her mother, of course. The mother tried everything. She took her to adolescent counseling. She changed her discipline approach. She put her into different church and mentoring program, all the while praying for her constantly. Nevertheless, it seems as if nothing was working. Her mother felt with all the daughters acting out and after all the attempts to solve this rebellious attitude she was displaying toward her, her mother simply didn't, her daughter simply didn't respect her. The mother felt like, hey, you just don't even respect what I'm trying to tell you. It seemed that the only person she would respond to was her mother's boyfriend. Let's go back to that gap. Was her mother's boyfriend, who also had daughters he would spend time with and talk to as much as he could. The more he came around, the more he would show the daughter some of that positive attention she was longing for from a male figure in her life. She had no problem responding to her mother's boyfriend because he was giving her the emotional intimacy that she had been craving from her father. Ladies, listen to me. Where are you now with your emotional intimacy? How have you filled that gap of emotional intimacy? Because you didn't get what you need growing up. You didn't get what you need as a teenager. You didn't get what you need as a young adult, or you're not getting what you need now in your intimate relationships. Wow. And you have masked it with other things, whether working, becoming a compulsive worker, shopper, eater, exerciser. We can fill that emotional gap with so many things, but it doesn't fill it. It causes another problem. It causes another issue. And then you have other issues that you piled on because the emotional intimacy has not been fulfilled in your life. When the craving for emotional intimacy is constantly ignored in a young woman's life, also in children, it only develops more, and most of the time this lack of emotional intimacy is displayed in many different forms. Such as low self-worth, low self-esteem, unwanted behavior, seeking attention. You're seeking intimacy. Now let's fast forward until today. Let's fast forward to today's time, because so many women have not been fulfilled emotionally. Now, a lot of it could be because of dad didn't or couldn't or didn't know how to be there emotionally for the child, or it could be your mother or grandmother or whoever that was a caregiver that was not there for you emotionally, and as you grew up you kept seeking things to fill that emotional void. Listen. I always say, listen, Linda. We have to identify what's going on, because we have so many women that I coach, that I mentor. The issue always goes back to an emotional void. an emotional void. That void is sometimes filled with, luxury cars, luxury homes, a great job. They're overachievers, but they're still miserable because they're missing that emotional intimacy. That void has not been filled. They overeat, and then some of them undereat. Some of them become exercise fanatics. Some people become shopaholics. They go spend money because they're trying to fill that emotional void. They're trying to fill that void that, shopping cannot fill. And then they have a financial void because they are spending too much money. And then some of them don't have a financial void, but they don't have the finances that they could have because they're buying too much things and stuff, which causes a decrease in their life, And then some of them, they like I said, they become workaholics. They become churchaholics. People become churchaholics. They're on every organization in the church because they're trying to fill a void that's emotional. They're not filling it with God. They're filling it with church affiliations, choir. They trying to be on the choir stand. They on the deacon board. They in everything. They're at every conference. They going to all these different places. They're at church all the time. And guess what? They're still not in God because what they are seeking, now God can feel it after you identify it. You have to identify, yes, I have a void here. I have to identify it. It has to be identified, and then it has to be addressed. Because, look, you can't get back that emotional intimacy, feel it from what happened to you in childhood. But you can come to an understanding that, hey, this is my issue. This is what I've been dealing with. How am I going to choose to heal from that emotional void? Because it takes healing. It takes healing, fills it in. The first thing you have to do is identify it. It has to be identified. Because if not, it causes so many different chaotic decisions. And one thing I didn't say was sex. So many people use sex and drinking, drugs, sex, drinking, and drugs as an emotional void because it numbs the pain, the emotional pain, not the physical pain, but the emotional pain of that void that they are missing. You guys, my time is, it is up. We started a little bit late today. I am Tara T. Stallings. I am professional master certified life coach, board certified mental health coach, author, and speaker. You have been listening to Midday with Tara, Let's Talk Tara, and I've been talking about emotional intimacy, a discussion that we have started a few weeks ago, and we're going to continue discussion. And today I happen to read from an excerpt from my book, Ladies, Let's Talk, Life, Lives, Love, and Relationships. And you can purchase that book from my website at TaraTStallingsInc.com. That's TaraTStallingsInc.com/shop. And you can purchase that book there, or you can purchase it from Amazon. I thank you guys for listening to this podcast today. Make sure you share it with someone and join me next week. Midday with Tara. Let's Talk Tara.
You have been listening to Let's Talk with Tara. We hope you've enjoyed this show. Remember, if you have real issues, then Tara has real solutions. Thanks for stopping by. See you next week.